I think the Tottenham players must be listening into your pre-match pump-up because they looked up for it today. David, good 3 points, wasn't it?
No, look, what was all the panic about? You know, what was all the panic about around Tottenham? No, look, first of all, I do want to say it's just great to see the smile back on Tottenham fans' faces. That's the big plus from today. I think us fans, we deserve that win today. And I agree with you. Look, along with Brains McLeod, who I know listens in with his comments the other day, you know, I'd say he was running around, you know, knowing that I got the score prediction right and everything else. I'd say he was going nuts today. But no, look, I'm absolutely delighted. I think there's plenty of positives to take away from today. I'll be honest with you. Look, no matter what's going on around the club, you don't know when the next one is going to come. No. We've seen that over the last 3 games. Just enjoy it. Just be happy today and don't let anybody
be grateful.
Yeah, and what really impressed you about the performance today? Why do you think? What do you think got us the win?
Look, we started fast. We had determination. We had hunger. We had desire, and our heads didn't drop when we conceded today. You know, we pushed on, ploughed on, and really got the points. I'm absolutely delighted. I think the change in formation, for me, I actually think we did play the 4-2-3-1 today. I think it was a massive improvement. And when we play that, we get a massive improvement out of Reguilon and Emerson showing today because. Like, what was happening is right, Reguilon was bombing forward. Ali was playing on the left side of the tree, also bombing forward, which means that when teams turned over the ball, and because Ali is the most dispossessed player in the Tottenham team, he has double the dispossessions than any other player in our team. Because he was getting dispossessed so easy, teams were just finding it easy to get down our left-hand side. And that's why Eric Dyer was being exposed. He was having to cover the left and try and cover the centre. But when you have Højbjerg and Skip there, it allows your fullbacks to push on with confidence, knowing that you have these guys to protect you. Like under Pochettino, that was happening. Walker and Rose were allowed to bomb on. Wanyama and Dembele, you know, they would offer the cover for them to allow them to get forward. So I think it's definitely a platform to build on.
Absolutely. Just one thing on that point, actually. Nuno's come out after the game and said we have to find the balance between defensive and attacking together. Because it's not just about attack and it's obviously not just about defence. So today we showed both sides of the game where we defended as a unit, whether it's Eric Dyer, whether it's Lucas Moura, Romero, and we attacked really well as well. And that was like a throwback Poch performance for me where the whole team was just at it. But one of the things I want to ask you, David, is Tanguy in that role, is he the man to stick with going into Newcastle, or it's a very debatable topic at the moment with Spurs fans? I mean, who do you think starts? I imagine it's not going to be Ali, after what you've just said, being the most dispossessed man in football. So do you stick with Tanguy now? Do you still give him 60 minutes, or what do you do with that one, mate?
Do you know what? For me, I actually think, believe it or not, I actually think Tanguy would be the right man going into Newcastle because they are shit, let's be honest. They are absolutely diabolical. At the moment, yeah. Crap. So then, Ndombele, he does possess the skill just to kind of waltz through them and cut them open, you know, like a knife through butter, to be honest with you. But long term, I think it's just going to be the case of just hopefully for me it's like a lottery pick, just putting the Celso or an Ndombele in, and hopefully that's the right game for them. Because look, with Lo Celso, I think there was a lot of positives when he came on today. But again, he's another one that can blow hot and cold. And for me, it's just about kind of identifying the weaknesses in the opposition and picking who you think is right to fill that role going forward. Look, long term, I actually think it'll be Brian Gil-Messi, to be honest with you. I do think he has the capabilities of playing there. The way he just floats into space, picks up ball. Yeah. I think it'd be brilliant for Son, and I think it'd be brilliant for Harry Kane too going forward.
Why do you think Nuno's not starting him or giving him time in that number 10? Do you think it's a fitness thing? Do you think he's building him up? I mean, a lot of fans are crying out for Hill to come in there and dictate. I mean, what's your view on Nuno? What's his tactics with that one?
Do you know what? You made a good point, you know, and Gil was alluding to it in his press conference about building up his strength. But the thing is, look, Luka Modric was similar stature. You know what I mean? It's just, look, with Gil, he's just going to take a bit of time to acclimatise. And look, for me, I think you're right. It's just about picking that right game for him to come in and flourish, let him hit the ground running. And then I think we have one hell of a serious player on our hands.
Yeah, I completely agree. But in terms of the new boys, Emerson and Romero, what did you make of their performances today? Was today the day they really announced themselves as Tottenham players?
Look, I'm going to start with Romero. Look, with Romero, I said it myself today. It's nice to see him. It's nice to see a defender being proactive rather than reactive. Look, and you could see that today. I know Dyer had a decent game. Look, for me, I think the blame lies mostly on him for the goal, because I've seen it time and time again where he just lets the player cut across him and get the tap in. But look, for me, I think Romero, because you look at it, the amount of throw-ins and corner kicks they had, Romero was always the first one to go and win that ball. He's like, this is my area. You ain't having any joy in here. Whereas Dyer, there was one stage Romero slipped. I think it was a throw-in that came in. And Dyer was just kind of standing there, and you're thinking, okay, bail your teammate out. Go and win that ball, get it clear. And he didn't. He kind of just stood there, and then the ball ended up bouncing around. It's these little things that Romero does that makes him so good. Look, I know you could say he had a massive hand in the goal today. You know, he kind of lunged in, and if you're going to lunge in like that, you have to win the challenge, or you are opening yourself up. But he won a lot of them today where he was just stopping the ball coming in, and it was a huge platform for us to build on. This guy, look, you don't spend 55 million on a centre-back. At his age, I think he's, 23? And he's clearly been identified for the next 6, 7, 8 years. And for me, you have to start playing him. I know he couldn't play him because of him being in Croatia and all that sort of jazz. But from now on, you have to get him in there, and it's just about finding the right partner beside him.
Yeah, I agree, and I completely agree what you say about proactive defending. I feel like the other defenders we have, a lot of the time, you know, they make blocks and they make clearances and they do all that defending stuff, which is fine, but you know, they don't step in front of players. They don't get aggressive with attackers as much as Romero does.
I think the Spurs fans are going to have to get used to seeing Romero picking up yellows, maybe making the odd clanger like he did today, but it way more than outweighs what he does most of the time, which is wins his tackles and, you know, gets the ball back into Tottenham's favour. So I think Spurs fans are going to have a bit of a journey with Romero, and we're just going to have to get used to it.
I actually don't mind a player picking up cards, because it means, like, look, I don't know about you guys, but how many times last year did we see players just walking through our team, getting shots off? At least now we're just taking them out. We're not even giving them that opportunity. So I don't mind picking up yellow cards. At the end of the day, if you don't have the money to spend like City and Chelsea, then you have to go at another avenue.
Yeah.
Being the most aggressive team in the league is certainly one you can do.
Well, look, and also, you know, Ramos wasn't afraid of getting a card, was he? And he's one of the best centre-backs of all time.
You look at the best defenders are able to play on the front. Rio used to always try and step in and get in front of his man. I think with Romero, though, when he gets a yellow, we saw that today, you're always worried that he's going to do it, do it again. I think he's smart enough to play a different type of game once he's on a yellow, because I think he's intelligent. Actually, football intelligence is just as important as skills and other ability. And I see Emerson playing very intelligently today, you know, like very intelligent moves, and not, you know, some players just have intelligence, some don't. And I feel like Romero and Emerson, both signings, are very intelligent. Even Brian Hill, very skillful, but intelligence is the difference. Yeah. Harry Kane is very Teddy Sheringham was very intelligent. These players just have that bit. And I saw signs of intelligence in Emerson today, the way he was moving around and the positions he was taking up. That's a very good thing to see in a footballer early on, that intelligence, you know. Whereas Dyer sometimes lacks it.
Just to touch on Emerson, Josh, I don't know about you, but for me as well, it was nice to see the fullback take responsibility and run with the ball, because look, with Doherty and Aurier, a lot of the times they were taking the easy pass inside, not making that pass, and we're giving the ball back to the opposition.
Yeah, taking risks.
But Emerson was taking responsibility, trying to get on the outside, bomb down the line, trying to get us up the pitch, and that's also a massive help. It's all these little things that we've been missing over the last couple of years that now, today we've built the platform. If we can keep doing them, there's definitely a lot of positivity going forward.
You know, with that, what you just said there, players come to Tottenham and they come with a different culture from the previous club or previous league, and they come with an attacking culture, and then we make them Spursy, because when they make those runs, no one finds them. When they do a 1-2, they get the sideways pass or the backwards. So they generally, over 5-6 games, start to stop taking risks, and that's a really bad poison that could enter players when the team's not playing risky football, because risky football wins you, you know, creates chances. One-touch football we saw today, a couple of combos, and we opened up Aston Villa. So I just hope he doesn't become Spursy in the way that he continues to risk and continues to try and do something creative each time. Because if you don't get the ball and the 1-2s from the players around you, you stop making those runs, because you think, you know, it's just not going to happen. So I just hope we continue this slightly edgy football where we're trying to be a little bit more creative, innovative, and not playing the sideways, backwards, safe stuff and the pragmatic stuff, which people are worried about Nuno playing pragmatic football. Today, that wasn't a Nuno-style performance. Maybe it was one of his earlier performances from Wolves, where they used to play quite sort of good, attractive football. But it was good to see that, man. I mean, Emerson was probably one of the guys that could go down as man of the match, along with Romero, along with Son. I mean, who would you give man of the match to if you had to choose? I know there's a few.
Yeah, look, I'll be honest with you. I think my man of the match today is Son, to be honest with you. Look, this guy is really stepping up. Look, he's already world class, but what he's added now is goals, responsibility. Like today, okay, we conceded, but he physically grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck, ran at Aston Villa, and he skinned his man alive, and then created the chance for Lucas Moura. I'm not sure whether it ended up being an OG or not, to be honest with you.
They gave it an own goal, but I don't think it was. I think it was. I think they slowed down the replay, and Lucas got the final touch on it. I think the defender touched it onto Lucas. That's what I saw, but they gave it as an OG.
First fans will give it to Lucas, that's for sure. But look, with Son today, look, I think he's been absolutely. I think he was brilliant. He was trying to create things. He was positive. He was running at players. And the thing with Sonny, he can skin a player, but he has that raw pace over 2 or 3 yards that really gets him, really builds up that momentum and it makes him quicker than the defenders. And I really like that about him today. I have to say, big up to Sonny.
How would you rate Kane today, David? Because I know you were saying in the pre-match service. Today he had some service. Unfortunately, he didn't score, but he finally got service, didn't he? He got a few opportunities.
No, he did, and he looked better. Let's be honest. If he scored today, he would have had 1 goal and 2 assists. I have down on my notes. You know what I mean? And we would have all been sitting there absolutely going nuts. Kane is back. Look, for me, I actually think, the questions of him not being interested, I think, are gone. I think he was interested today. He was fighting. There was times long balls was coming into him. He was getting the knockdowns back to our players. Yep. There was other times he made runs, and Ndombele just couldn't find him with the final pass. He took a couple of long range shots today. He should have scored. He should have just simply, lifted that one up over the goalkeeper. It didn't happen. He should have scored, but all in all, I think it's positives. And one thing I will say is look, maybe this is a blessing in disguise for us Spurs fans. And just hear me out on this. Maybe things is just like, look, sometimes in life things are about timing. That's what I've from my experience, sometimes you just have to naturally let things happen, and it's all about timing. And maybe Harry Kane is going to come into form after the international break at maybe just the right time.
He normally does.
Maybe we can make a good run. Maybe he can be the difference between us winning more games than we lose, and maybe we can make a good run. We're just outside top 4. And what I'm seeing this year is a much more competitive Premier League. A lot more teams are at it. United have dropped points. People thought they were going to easily catch the top 4. City have dropped points. Leicester are shambolic. There's an opening there. And maybe Kane can come into form at the right time. And hopefully this team realises that they can all come together. Even Nuno. I do want to touch on Nuno just quickly. But maybe we can all come together now and really hit form, and Harry Kane can lead the charge.
Yeah, they say form is temporary and class is permanent.
Class is permanent. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm sure Kane hasn't lost his ability, and you don't wake up and he didn't get his move, but you don't wake up and lose what you've been doing for 6-7 years.
No,
so
and I think he did show a bit of desire today and hunger.
Yeah, there was one point he ran back.
Yeah,
I don't know if he lost the ball or someone lost the ball, and he's run back. And
he's still got some stuff to improve on, but I think people saying he was terrible again. I think that's wide of the mark. I don't think he was terrible.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but in 2015-16, did he not score in like his first 6 Premier League games?
9.
9. There you are. You know what I mean? The guy will get you goals. And the thing is, he already has, I think, 6 goals already this season. I know they've been against, he got one against Wolves and the rest have kind of been against pub teams. But at the end of the day, he's still finding the net. He just needs to get that Premier League goal. And look, the thing is as well, I also hear this Son Kane thing, right? And I get it. But the thing is, I want to say, they're better together. The thing is, when you have just Son or Kane, teams know you only have one of the players to worry about. And it's very easy to make a plan and shut that down. But when you have the two of them, if Son gets the ball, you have Kane to worry about Kane's movement, Kane's running. And if vice versa, if Kane has the ball, you're worried about Son running in behind. You don't know whether he's going to go outside, cut inside. And it just creates havoc for the defence. We're starting to create a little bit of a culture, because I've seen it with Højbjerg as well lately. People starting to pull this guy apart. We're starting to create a bit of a culture where we're starting to tear down our best players here at Tottenham. And we're making excuses for Dele Alli, Ndombele, Davies, Winks, all these sort of players. Look, we need to be, when the likes of Kane and Højbjerg, who actually deserve it, who for me, best performers last season, Kane, a legend of the club. Højbjerg deserves a back, and he was doing 3 jobs last season, for God's sake. You know what I mean? This is the time to put your arms around them and show them the love. Give them that extra bit of love. And stop tearing them down and making excuses for players who continue to let us down time and time again.
I agree. If anyone's deserved patience or deserves like an acknowledgement that he will come good, it's Harry Kane. So many times they've doubted him, and he always comes good. Always.
Without Kane in the first 3 games of the season, we did look a bit more unpredictable, a bit more.
Well, he only missed 1 game
and a bit of energy.
He only missed the City game.
City against.
Yeah, he missed the City game.
Yeah, he missed the City game. We just looked a little bit more dynamic and unpredictable, but and I think there'll be times when Nuno has to think about life without Kane if he's injured or when he's tired, or he just needs a couple of games off. So I think it would be good for Nuno to experiment without Kane in maybe the lesser games. Maybe if we're 2-0 up, you take Kane off, and with Bergwijn fit, with Hill, with Moura, with Son.
I would say if we had a backup striker, we just don't. We just don't have one, do we? You know what I mean?
But I think Nuno needs to think about life without Kane. Maybe obviously next season we'll see what happens in the January or summer transfer window. But it will be good to see Nuno experiment without Kane. I don't want us to become just Kane FC, and that's it. I do want Nuno to pull him off 20 minutes to go, 2-3-0 up, and try and experiment with different formations up top, because I think that will be needed when or if Kane is tired or injured. But for now, I think we just got to play around him.
I think it's clear that Son will be the striker if Kane doesn't play. I think Nuno made that clear with pre-season, with the City game and that, with the Wolves game. I think it will be clear that Son will be our striker when Kane is not available. And then that's grand, because you can just put Bryan Hill out on the left-hand side, and you can still have that pace, that creativity.
Or Bergwijn.
Yeah, well, I have my doubts about that guy. I think everybody knows that. But look, guys, I do want to actually give Nuno a bit of praise, because I'll be honest with you. Look, we're very quick to criticise him, so let's be very quick to praise him. At the end of the day, his job, for me, I think, was on the line today. He made the right formation. He made the right calls in the lineup. And I think the only thing he probably could have done is maybe brought on the Celso a little bit earlier. But for me, you have to praise the guy. He got a lot right today. There's now a blueprint going forward, foundations to build on, building blocks there. And I think there's a lot of positives. I think, look, when you look at the squad, I think the 4-2-3-1 is the way to go. The best players in the squad who played from the Poch era, that's the system they know, off by heart. Kane, Son, Hugo Lloris there. I was going to say Eric Dyer, but maybe him too. And then you have players who the formation will really suit. Skip and Højbjerg just doing their defensive duties. Reguilon, Emerson, it allows them to bomb forward. So I just think it's the right way to go forward. But hopefully Nuno has learned now. There's just certain players you cannot play in this team anymore who are just, unfortunately, they cause Tottenham more harm than good. And hopefully he's learned you just cannot persist with them. I don't care how much Daniel Levy wants him to or anybody else. It's his job on the line. Managers are only given a short space of time now. Grab your cojones, make that call, and send them to train with the under-23s.
I think that's a really good point. And also, one point I want to make is players have a choice when to turn up and when not to turn up, regardless of the formation, regardless of the players' personnel selection. Today, the players had a choice to turn up and put in a shift. Nuno cannot get in the players' bodies and do that bit for them. That final part of the jigsaw is the players turning up. The players turned up today. But when the players don't turn up, we'll blame Nuno, and we'll blame the players as well if we need to. And when the players turn up, we'll praise Nuno and we'll praise the players. It's a joint effort every game. And for me, I'm just glad the players actually turned up physically, mentally at 1-0, at 1-1. We didn't, camp back and heads drop. So it shows that a lot of managers, unfortunately, have to deal with players that have a choice and make the wrong choice. And thank God everyone gelled today and did it. I want to see that at Newcastle now. I want to see that at West Ham. The players have to turn up. They are half the jigsaw in this whole piece. And yes, Nuno has to motivate them. Yes, Nuno has to train them. Yes, Nuno has to coach them and pick them. But the players have to turn up. And finally, the players turned up. And I'm just so happy to see that. But being a Spurs fan, I'll only hold on to it this weekend.
Let's see how long they turn up for.
When it comes to Newcastle, I'll be biting fingernails again, thinking, what Tottenham are we going to get? But at least the players showed they can do it when they really put their minds to it.
And if I have time just for one more thing, guys.
Go on.
I know Josh was mentioning the corners on the with Phil in the last game. Aston Villa have actually won 21 corners in their last 3 games. They're actually looking to get the set pieces. But the thing is, as Spurs fans, we have to expect team to be looking to get corner kicks as well against us, because we've already conceded 3 goals this season, if not 4, from corner kicks alone. NS Mora, 1 against Wolves, 1 against Chelsea. Teams know it's a weak link of ours. So until we can sort that out, which is sortable, you know what I mean? It comes down to coaching every little aspect of the game. If you have players who can't think for themselves, then you just have to coach them and tell them what to do. And hopefully today we've rectified that problem.
I think because of the lack of depth in our squad, there isn't enough competition for places in every position, and that means players get comfortable, and they know even if they put in a 5, 6 out of 10, they're still going to be picked just purely on talent. And that's our long-term problem. That's something we need to work on with investment and, you know, recruitment. But I think the corners thing is a good thing that we today we didn't have Ali. Well, Ali wasn't even playing, but we didn't have Tanguy up against Minks or Ali against Silva and Chelsea. So it looks like Nuno reads and watches TV and reads papers, and you know he's getting the message. But you know he's not a baby, man. He's been in the Premier League a long time now. He should be getting these decisions right anyways. And what worries me is it's a very painful process of making mistakes and learning, not starting skip against Arsenal, you know, keeping Ali in the team too long, you know, corners, set pieces. It is quite painful, and it starts to make you think, no matter what Nuno says or does, do these players even listen? And he alluded to that after the Chelsea game. He said, you know, he was very, like, you know, cryptic messages in terms of, well, you know, I put formations or tactics out and it's up to the players to deliver. So I do feel there's a bit of player power at Spurs, but, you know, today can be a corner that we turn, and maybe dropping Ali, one of the popular guys in the changing room, you know, might send a little message out to the other players as well. You know, no one's got 100% guaranteed place.
Definitely. All right, David.
Cheers,
Good to
David.
see you, mate. Nice to speak to you as always. Looking forward to the next pump up. It's going to be a long wait, a couple of weeks, but it worked today. The boys brought home the points, and that's what it's all about.
No, look, that's what it's about. Honestly, they need to be putting me in the dressing room to give the hat. You know, there's no better man in the business. But look, you know, some of the comments I've been listening to, like Rains McLeod, Josh, and that on some of the shows, the pump up is clearly working, making a good fist of it. Look, today I got the score prediction right. I got how the game was going to go right, apart from Harry Kane scoring. A few people in the chat actually saying, you know, I slate players and I don't criticise Doherty. Honestly, there must be first time people.
You don't criticise Doherty.
They must be they're virgins, man. They're virgins.
Give me a break. Look, I know the call was a good one, but I can't be perfect. You know, I can't just pick every player on the team. But look, at the end of the day, we're Tottenham Hotspur. You know, when we finished all this, grab the cockerel, give it a hug, give it a kiss. You know, a win is a win. You know, there's plenty of positives going forward. We can actually be a bit positive going into the international break with a lot of direction now, in my opinion, in terms of management in the squad and what way to go. So a lot of positives. Just enjoy the day. Really enjoy it, you know.
Absolutely.
And the road to redemption is well and truly on, guys. Great job today, Josh and
Cheers,
Josh
pal.
and Sim. I think you complement each other really well.
We've got
And
100%. We've got 100%. We've got 100% record. So thanks for the.
Hope you'll keep it up.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get you in the studio, David. Soon.
I know,
soon.
look, 100%. Look, it'll be a good laugh, that's for sure. Hopefully,
Can't
I
wait.
can bring the Irish as well.
Nice one, David.
Nice
Good
one,
to see you,
Dave.
mate. Have a good one.
Take care, David.